Uncut Femmes could have been really interesting, but I found this episode to be really boring. This is the 17th episode of the 32nd season of The Simpsons. This is directed by Chris Clements, and it starts off with Marge and Sarah Wiggum volunteering to help with the children's latest activity, which involves a World War II ship. I thought the setting was quite interesting, it was very well animated, and then we were starting to find out more about Sarah Wiggum and what she's like when she can let her hair down. And I thought this would be really fascinating because she's a character we don't know that much about, but it turns out there's something very dark and criminal from her past, and it explores that, and I found it so dull. I will say the element of surprise was good. I didn't see certain things coming, and, the way it developed I hadn't predicted. So that part of it was interesting enough, but not enough that I would say I enjoyed it. I appreciate that it wasn't predictable as the narrative progressed, but I didn't really care for it. I didn't find it to be interesting. I thought the topic was so dull, and I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't buy into it. The bits that I did like were when we have Homer and Wiggum. They're both looking for their wives, and it's great to just see the similarities between the two characters. I absolutely love that aspect. And Homer and Wiggum, as I've mentioned before, just make such a great duo. I think they work really well together. Maybe they're too alike in some cases, but generally I loved the scenes with them. But obviously most of the scenes are Marge and Sarah Wiggum. And yeah, it's interesting to the extent that it's not a dynamic we usually see, but it's not enough to be interesting. I just found it to be really dull. It's not bad in the sense that the plot doesn't flow very well, or I don't believe the characters' motivations. It's just bad in the sense that it wasn't engaging. I didn't care for it, and I might skip it. It's borderline a skippable episode. I didn't hate it, I wasn't offended by it. It's not badly written as such. It's just not well written, if that makes sense. So maybe I would skip it, but either way, Uncut Femmes is not an episode I would ever choose to watch. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it. There are occasionally some things in it that work quite well. But needless to say, it is never going to be my favourite episode. Uncut Femmes just didn't do anything for me at all.